Hi, I'm Dale.Pickens.
And I'm Pickens.
And we are picking up the pieces. So we're here at Connolly Nature Park today. We're gonna go down here and see some of these old trees they have. I think there's some here from, I'd say 300 years ago. That would be 1700.
1700 or maybe older than that, possibly.
We'll go down here and look at some of those trees. These trees, some of these are, from what you know, they're all like 300 years plus, right?
Yeah, or older. Yeah, it's supposed to be huge, huge trees.
So we're gonna head up the trail. By the way, for those of you that are interested and want to come over here, this is off Connolly Drive, and it's across from the kindergarten. There's a little U-shaped loop right over here for where you park. You can see my truck. You park there and come right up the hill, and this is where your trail is. That one with all the knots on it, kind of interesting.
Still alive or not, maybe.
Yeah, it probably is.
If we had a forestry guy with us, they could tell us exactly how big. You know, they have different designations for the different sizes of these trees.
So I'm assuming that that's a loop.
It could be.
So that it takes up, I think it is.
Possible.
But it is a fork.
Yeah.
We'll go to
take
the
one less travel. If you ever want to go out to the Dawes Head Trail, we could do that.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do a video on that.
I can get Joel, who's like the Dawes Head Trail guy, to come.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Well, that is a nice one.
That's a healthy one.
Reaches all the way to the sky. Now that one out there is big. That's a big one. I'd say that's probably one of the 300-year-old ones.
Yeah. Look here, we got an actual marked trail here.
Well, you can get a little bit closer look at that big boy.
Yeah.
It's a truly, well, for the lack of a better word, bigness of this tree is shown in the video. Well, what would you say the thickness of that thing is? About 5 feet?
There'll be some briars over here.
I'm going to say that's 6.
Or 7, yeah.
That's a really thick tree. I wish we could get him to tell the history of what all he's seen standing here.
Wow. That is amazing. Come over here and look at this top.
Huh. Right in the middle there where those limbs are. That's
Big old knots.
That's 8 feet.
Yeah.
And these limbs, you know, those knots are probably limbs that were cut off.
Yeah. The lower branches broke.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, these little posts are cool.
Yeah. It's kind of an odd way to mark a trail, though.
I know. It seems like an exercise in futility because they're not going to last that long.
Yeah.
You know?
Looks like they had a rope at one time in there.
Yeah. Probably trying to
Keep people from.
everybody on the trail.
Yeah. I guess that would make sense.
I'm surprised they haven't developed all this.
They haven't what? Developed it?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Me too.
Because, there's a lot of East Point, tucked away that looks like this.
Yeah.
Very, indicative of the area.
Well, I'm really surprised it's protected. If it is really protected.
Yeah.
It's one of those places in the middle of the city that you would think you're out in a deep woods sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, there's a sign.
All right. Civilization. It gives a little bit of history of how they started the trail. Or some other projects that they've done.
Oh yeah, it's right there. It's not like a generic sign. It's for this.
So you say this could be a tributary of the South River, so
I believe so. It flows through East Point and empties into the Chattahoochee.
I've never heard of the South River.
Yeah. I grew up on the part that's over there near Cleveland and Sylvan. So the part I grew up near is fairly polluted. But this looks very clean over here.
Wouldn't trust it. Wow, this is so calming down in
Yeah,
here.
it's very peaceful.
It is, and it's got more use than I thought it did. Well, you don't really expect to find a fire pit right here in the city park. That is definitely something I would expect to see up in North Georgia.
Yeah, that's cool. Ceramic.
Yeah, that's what they used to wrap the wires around, wasn't it?
Yep. Probably came off a house.
I am surprised that there's not any more trash than there is here. Actually, I haven't seen any trash.
I'm not sure what it's for.
Well, except those oranges.
Right.
I always loved camping near one of these.
Sometimes it's almost too moist,
Well, you've heard the phrase babbling brook.
Yeah.
I was camping by a stream like that one night, and I kept hearing people talk. At least that's what I thought it was, and I realized it was the brook.
Yeah.
It was just babbling like that, and
It sounds like people talking. Yeah.
sounded just like people talking. So you figure the tree may have gotten that crooked because of the wind, maybe?
It's possible.
Or growing up against other trees, I guess. I'll have to come back down here and do a video when the flowers are blooming and spring is sprung.
Get you a shot right here, Dale, where you're looking up and the sun's shining through these leaves and you got the tree behind you. Yeah, look the other way. See that?
Oh, yeah. It's not that big a tree, but it's probably a couple of hundred.
Oh, yeah. A big rock sticking out of the ground. But you don't know if back in the days when
Yeah, I mean,
it might have been something.
It could have been a gravestone very easily.
They might have propped a house up on top of it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't houses somewhere up in here at one point.
Yeah.
And It's perfect. I know that road's been out there for I don't know how long.
Right.
But this anything out in here, you know, that's old East Point.
Oh yeah.
And this is another big tree. But this one I would say, just in my estimate, a couple 100 years old.
Yeah.
150.
Yeah. It's wrapping around this tree. It's, but right up through the middle of it, they're shaking hands.
Oh yeah. Now these things could be kind of spooky looking at times.
Oh yeah.
Look at that pine tree.
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
I mean, that thing is crooked. Look at that.
A little contorted, isn't it? I had a tree similar to this over in Red Oak, and they called it the witch tree. And it was somewhere in between this one and that huge one we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And it was just wild looking.
Mm.
And of course, there's a warehouse over there now.
The tree's no longer there?
Tree's no longer there. Look at there.
Yeah.
Nice little cubby hole for something.
Yeah. And I would be, well, I don't know. There's not much activity around the entrance where something might go in there, but raccoon or...
Yeah, something want to get in out of the rain.
Yeah.
That'd be a good spot.
That one right there too.
Look at the growth on the old branch there. It's neat.
Oh yeah. I think that's called grandfather's beard,
Is that what it
if I'm not mistaken.
could be? Some type of little fern-like growth.
Y'all can leave down the comments if you know what that growth is on that limb.
Yeah.
It's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've been in here, but I don't remember these posts.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that one that fell over there.
Oh wow.
Over here.
That is a big one.
This one.
Oh, this one. Yeah. Wow. That is a huge one.
I mean, that one, that's too bad that one fell. That thing is huge. And that one too.
Yeah. Two real big ones. Wow. Look at that.
That's another big one.
Imagine the tree house you could put in that tree.
Probably they were there at one time.
Right.
I know if I'd had a tree with limbs like that down closer to the ground, I would have certainly put one up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a limb that fell off of one.
Uh-huh.
Look at that sucker.
It's huge. It's bigger than the tree itself.
Yeah,
That's probably what? 50 feet long?
yeah. Good 50 feet.
Huge.
Sorry. And that's a limb. There's another one. It almost has a face on the front of it.
Oh, yeah, it sure does. Is that either oak?
Yeah. I don't know what oak, but white oak,
Maybe.
pin oak, I don't know. It's a big oak. Wow.
You're just so close to the neighborhood.
Yeah. Connolly Drive is right over there. You see the cars. Another one. So many of these old trees out here. What is that up in the top? You see that shiny?
I see a white spot. It could be lion's mane, like the type of mushroom. But I would figure it's been too cold recently for that to grow, so I don't know.
I think what we're talking about is right.
Yeah, right up there. You see the white spot?
Right in there. I don't know what that is.
Golf ball.
A little bit big for a golf
Yeah.
ball.
Oh no.
Oh, there's another one down there. I guess I don't know if the trail goes around. There's so many of them right in this area, I can't keep up with them.
Yeah, a lot of trees.
That is a big one. Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, these trees are amazing. You know, I wish I'd have come back in here before now.
Yeah.
Been in here before, but I don't remember it being this amazing. These are trees worth looking for. If anybody, leave me in the comments of other areas like this that you'd like to see a video on, tell me where it is and I'll see if I can get there. Yeah. There's the one that flies around over our house a lot. Yeah.
See, he's so white, it's probably a Cooper's hawk. He's a good shot, though.
They got us a little bridge.
What I tried to do is I couldn't see.
It's a nice big one. Well, I guess that's all the big ones.
Yeah, looks like one time, I guess it's been about 2 years, that we had a real bad storm that blew through, and high winds and rain, and trees were down all over town, and the tail end of the storm was going through like 2 in the morning. And I go out into the yard and stand there in the darkness watching the last of the storm go, because it was, you know, it's pretty much over, but still the trees were just like this. And after it stood there for a while, I realized that each tree had a different sound because it was a different shape. The leaves were different shapes, and this one's going shh, this one's going shh. And it was like they were talking to each other, you know. And it was just so strange. And if you think about what our voices are, it's just wind going over the voice box.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, who's to say they weren't talking to each other?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting.
It's interesting that you noticed that.
Yeah. And I would have never noticed it unless I was standing out there, and it was like complete silence except for the wind and the trees, you know.
I've been in situations like that too, especially ice storms.
Yeah.
And then you can hear the crackling all over the place. It's kind of an experience on its own.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Dee, I appreciate you coming with me today.
It was fun.
It was. This is Dee Claiborne. I asked him to come out with us today and kind of help me find some of the places in East Point that are historical and interesting. And so this is one of them. And I highly recommend this place. If you haven't ever been here, you'll enjoy it. I guarantee it.
I like historical and interesting.
Yeah. And it was both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the wind just kind of, well, on both of these trees.
Yeah.
The wind just kind of bit them over. Interesting again. Well, that's a big one, or was.
We can look up inside it down there.
That was a thing, had a pretty good anchor in the ground. If you guys want to know more about this place, you can of course look it up on the internet and get more information than I can give you, because whatever I would pass on you can find as well. And if I find any out between now and the time this video posts, I will definitely add it. But sure do appreciate being with us today. If you would subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down there, especially if you know of any other places besides this one that is interesting that you think an audience would enjoy. So for now, see you later.